Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch can be seen as recent great examples of evolving games, with Ubisoft and Blizzard continuing to support their multiplayer titles long after their respective release dates. Since their respective launches, we've had everything from brand new characters and maps to cosmetics keeping us always eager to play season to season that help keep everything fresh. Both games are excellent team-based multiplayer shooters, both utilize a hero system to add depth and replayability, and both have a very passionate fan base. But if we were further dissect the two, which one will come on top? As a person that enjoys both fast-paced action gameplay and social factors that Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch emphasize on, they have both qualified my expectations, but let's compare them a little bit. Rainbow Six Siege is a strategy-packed 5v5 dance of attack and defense between military special forces squads on compact but complex maps. A brilliant level of attention on strategy and smart play over pure twitch aiming gives it one-of-a-kind feel that you don't get from games like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike. At times the mere strategy on where and when to barricade will help you get the win, more than the kills, so it can be defined as strategical making under traditional shoot to get the point. Every round that is played consists of fast-paced defending and getting ready for the attack of the other team, who meanwhile is given a certain time limit to obtain reconnaissance on the defending team's whereabouts. It's 45 seconds long preparation phase, but there are a lot of moving parts from where to place the limited reinforcements that are available and how to achieve the most strategical cutting point to harm the enemy team. A simple hole in a certain wall could get the defending team an unseen edge right at the beginning. Most of its levels are set in buildings with 3 stories, giving its gunfight a sense of height that many shooters lack. They are also littered with destructible walls and floors, letting you create your own paths with breaching charges or even break small holes in defending walls to create new lines of sight. It makes Siege an immediately more accessible game, empowering you with the ability to improve your win rate through learning the maps alone, even if your aim doesn't get any better. On the other hand, Overwatch is a bit similar to Rainbow in terms of gameplay, however with a twist. Rather than a 5v5, Overwatch throws 2 6-player teams against each other in an indestructible competitive environment. Each player chooses from a roster of 30 heroes, each with its unique style of play. Unlike Rainbow Six, Overwatch heroes are divided into 3 main categories: tank, DPS, and support. Tanks act as the front line, and the DPS will try to eliminate enemies, all while supported by the healers. What really separates Siege from Overwatch is players' independency from its teammate. In Overwatch, in order to achieve victory, players must constantly communicate and coordinate their movements with their teammates. It is near impossible for a single player to eliminate the entire team. But as for Rainbow, it is different. Although it's not a vice, no 2 players are forced into teamwork. Even a single player can carry its entire team to victory. There's a clear separation between the 2 games. In Overwatch, there must be at least 1 healer for a chance of victory. Without healers, players will die more often and have to respawn after 10 seconds cooldown. Although healers are important, but no one really enjoys playing them. It is like playing a match of football where everyone on your team wants to be a striker and charges for the ball at the same time leaving the goal wide open. Then they lose and rage about no one being the keeper. Blizzard tried fixing this issue by implementing role queue, where players decide what roles they would play before entering the match. Rainbow Six Siege maps are inspired from real-life examples such as the Favela map, which is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, or Oregon, which is based on Waco Siege that took place in 1993. It revolves more around realism rather than surrealism. Weight felt by each gun is a simulation of its original. However, the same cannot be said for Overwatch. In a fantasy theme, Overwatch is set 60 years into the future of a fictionalized Earth, with each hero having its own unique abilities, and unlike Rainbow, no hero is limited to one. For example, Sigma can pull out a rock from the 6th dimension, which if it comes in contact with an enemy it would knock him back, or deploy a shield out of thin air. Moria's Fade ability enables her to move faster while being invulnerable to damage. She also can launch a rebounding biotic sphere that either heal allies or damage the enemies. Her right hand fires a long-range beam weapon that snaps enemies' health while her left hand expends biotic energy to heal allies in front of her. Reaper can activate his Wraith mode, which he becomes invincible for a short time, or he can just teleport behind you. Working with your teammates, either through voice chat or just map markers and pings, is a simple but extremely impactful thing you can do to get better at Siege. It can be a big ask to reply in the voices of internet strangers, and Siege definitely has its fair share of unfriendly and unhelpful players. But overall, I've been pleasantly surprised by how this community understands and embraces good communication as a tool. A great example of how communication can win games is with security cameras and drones. You can use cameras to mark the location of enemies for your whole team, but doing so will also warn the marked player that they have been seen, often resulting in them quickly hunting down and destroying that camera. But if you don't mark enemies and instead talk to your teammates and tell them where that person is, you can give them the same information without alerting your opponent. You can still use those cameras after you've died too, which cleverly cuts out a lot of downtime as you continue to help any surviving teammates. The same thing cannot be said about Overwatch. Intel has literally no meaning. Go in a game, die, respawn, and react to the enemy strategy accordingly. Constantly talking with your teammates is crucial. When to push, when to flank, and when to use ultimate is essential for victory. Sticking as a group is more successful and rewarding than spreading out like a free-for-all. Siege clearly comes on top when it comes to game modes, with its 3 unique PvP modes, all of which revolve around one team protecting a room, or 2 rooms in the case of bomb mode, and the other team trying to break through their defenses. Each map has different rooms for each mode, with sometimes up to 5 different options to choose from when deciding which room the objective to be. Doesn't matter how many hours you have played, you will always find new ways to defend or attack a map. For example, bringing the blind spraying fuse into a hostage situation is asking for trouble, but also you can use it to flush at players from other rooms. As a side activity to the competitive battles, there is a PvE terrorist hunt mode and a single player situation. Both of these modes are great, and I often find myself warming up for the PvP by taking on the AI first. As for Overwatch, it only has 2 modes, capture and hold an objective, or escort the payload. What Overwatch lacks in modes, it compensates in variety. If players are tired of losing competitive, they can just relax and have fun in arcade games, which is essentially the same modes, but with addition or removal of certain game mechanics. For example, in low gravity, heroes jump higher and land slower. For team-based multiplayer first-person shooter where the sole objective is to win every match and climb the leaderboard, not providing story will not deter any players from playing the game. As for myself that enjoy games where there is at least a little story, Rainbow Six Siege failed to provide satisfaction in that regard. Although it explains in full details every operator background, that sometimes even expands to their childhood, it really doesn't show how the team is related to each other. It's just a team of 5 random characters assembled together. However, Overwatch features vast and in-depth character story with animated visuals. It shows how each of them came together and their connections with each other. For example, Farah is the daughter of the retired notorious assassin Ana, where when she came back to Overwatch she was shocked that her own daughter has joined the team. Genji and Hanzo are 2 dragon brothers where Hanzo tried to kill Genji and was nearly successful, but with the help of the Omnic robot, Zenyatta, he was healed, but half of him was replaced with robotic materials. Moving to achievements, as proven by my gamer profile, I personally do not try to collect a game's every achievement. Even after playing over 3 years of Overwatch, I still haven't completed its every challenge. Both games simultaneously provide satisfying and competitive gameplay, with each season adding new items into the game that ever keeps it fresh. One can never truly leave these games once they start playing it.